And we are live. It's the Revved Up 906 podcast, a Detroit Pistons podcast to be exact. And I'm Hudson.
And I'm Ryan.
And before we get into episode number 23, I want to make sure to remind you guys to like and subscribe and turn on your post notifications because you boys have NBA 2K content coming very soon. So be out on the lookout because we will be doing mock trades, 1v1s, maybe against subscribers if there's any interest in that. So if you're interested in taking on me and Ryan, leave a comment below and maybe we'll come after you and have our best against your best. Without further ado, let's get into episode number 23. The Detroit Pistons season has finally, I guess maybe not finally, that's a little negative, has come to an end. The season was finished against the Chicago Bulls in a hard-fought loss. To kick off the offseason, we want to dig deep and evaluate Jaden Ivey's rookie year. He finished his last 5 games of the season, averaging 22 points, 7 assists, nearly a steal, and pretty much 7 rebounds in the last 5 games. He really ended on a great hot streak. Last game of the season against the Bulls, he had 16 points. Against the Indiana Pacers, a win, he had 29 points. Against the Miami Heat, a close game, he had 30 points. Jaden Ivey showed how much better he got throughout the season in these last 5 games.
Yeah, and you look back at his season total in averages. He played 74 games, averaged 31 minutes, which is a lot for a rookie.
Right.
Shot 41% from the field, 34% from 3. The 3-point shot could improve a lot, but he didn't take a lot of them. That's why it was that low. Free throw percentage, 74%. He averaged 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I had to throw this in there, but he did average close to 4 turnovers a game.
Right.
And he finished with close to 4 fouls per game.
Which is a lot. 4 fouls is...
Yeah, so averaging that many turnovers and that many fouls is something that you could expect out of a rookie. That is something you could expect for a number being that high. But that's also something that's not good for any player. And so we shouldn't applaud him for having that high of or that low rather, of average for a rookie. Who cares if he's a rookie or not? That side of it is not good. Mm-hmm. But he still had a great season. And you look at his season totals, he played 2,304 minutes. Yes, I did the math on it.
Nice.
Took a while. He had 409 made field goals, 120 made threes.
Okay.
He barely shot the 3.
Right.
266 made free throws, 288 rebounds, 387 assists. And then I had to throw the turnovers and fouls in there because why not? 237 turnovers and 242 fouls with 1,204 points on the year.
Right.
The turnovers and fouls, having more turnovers and fouls on the season than 3-pointers made is not good.
No.
But if you actually watched this season and watched Jaden Ivey in the game, you would see that he wasn't taking a lot of threes.
Right. And with the turnovers, we talked about averaging nearly 4 turnovers a game. He had the ball in his hand a lot this season, especially with the absence of Cade and Corey Joseph dealing with injuries here and there. So he was forced to play the point guard position. While that's not his most true position, I really think he's a true shooting guard. And I think that's going to naturally happen when a rookie has the ball that much.
Yep. Yeah, and honestly, they purposely threw him there anyways. Even if Cade would have been healthy this year, I think they were going to throw Jaden Ivey into the fire like that and try and develop him a little bit more in that sense. Because his speed and his athleticism is perfect for a point guard in today's game.
Right, totally. Russell Westbrook kind of made that path for him.
Yeah.
We saw Jaden Ivey, you made mention, he finished with 1,204 total points in his rookie year. That's the most by a Pistons rookie since Grant Hill. Now, just for reference, Cade finished with 1,114 his rookie year. So Jaden Ivey kind of able to push the edge forward, kind of get that nod in the points department. I also think, the reason why he had so many points on the season, as you said, he played 74 games in an 82-game schedule. Yeah. That is a great thing to see. A guy like Jaden who plays so physical, so quick, and be able to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. I really applaud him for that.
Yeah, and you look at like just current NBA players in general and their active streaks and being healthy. Mikal Bridges has played 502 consecutive games. Like, are you serious right now? Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, he never missed a single game in college. He hasn't missed a single game in the NBA. So it's like, wow. Like, if we're getting that out of Jaden Ivey and others to come, I'm excited. And now it's unfortunate for Killian in that sense because he got injured and then he never really got his true rookie year.
Right.
But thankfully with Jaden, we've seen what he can do when he's healthy, and he barely missed any time this year.
As far as comparisons, I've seen a lot on social media between the comparison of like Dwayne Wade and Jaden Ivey in their rookie years. What kind of comparisons did you break down?
So the Dwayne Wade one, if that is the case, if he is the next Dwayne Wade, I'm excited.
Right.
Because I love Wade. He's one of the, in my opinion, it's a bold take. I said this to you earlier.
Yeah.
But I pretty much said that I always thought that Dwayne Wade was Batman and LeBron was Robin in Miami. Yeah. It's a bold take, but at the same time, Dwayne Wade, he's the king of Miami.
Yeah.
He really is. And so that was LeBron coming into his team.
Yeah.
So even in that sense, Dwayne Wade is Batman, even though, yeah, the argument is that LeBron is the greatest of all time. Dwayne Wade is not
top 75, though.
He is top 75, but he's not there. But I don't think LeBron's the GOAT anyways, but that's not the point. So some notable comparisons that were broken down were, this is ranked, at 1, Jamal Murray.
Okay.
I'm not complaining about that.
No.
Jamal is more of, he's up there in age already. I believe he's 26 now. He hasn't done anything too special, but that's because he's overshadowed by the Joker.
Right.
Number 2, I did not like this one because he hasn't panned out. I didn't think he should have been drafted as high as he was out of Texas Tech, and that is Jarrett Culver.
Right. Okay, so they had similar rookie years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Number 3, De'Aaron Fox, which
I like that one.
I like that one a lot because if you look at their games and what they've been able to do, De'Aaron is freaky fast.
Oh, yeah.
He's a freak of an athlete, and he is a great scorer and has a very high basketball IQ. You look at Jaden Ivey, and honestly, they're the same player pretty much. Mm-hmm. It's just they played 2 different positions.
Right.
But hopefully this season would help Jaden mold into what De'Aaron can do. Number 4 is a former Piston taken in 2011 with the 8th overall pick.
Yep.
And it is Brandon Knight.
Yeah.
Brandon Knight, he did have flashes in college of being something legit.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was like, okay, I kind of want him. Mm-hmm. And then he gets crossed over by Kyrie Irving in the All-Star game. That was embarrassing as Pistons fans.
Yeah.
And then he never really panned out. And I'm not saying that Jaden Ivey is Brandon Knight. I'm saying Jaden Ivey is much better than Brandon Knight. It's not even Brandon Knight 2.0 because Brandon Knight is irrelevant as much. Right. But Jaden Ivey is far better. Number 5, Kobe White, which it's an interesting one. I think Jaden Ivey is better than Kobe White. I'm
kind of surprised Kobe White had that good of a rookie year.
Yeah, like he was actually pretty solid.
It's like he's kind of fallen off since then. He hasn't had much time in Chicago.
And he's still only like 23.
I know.
And that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Number 6, Austin Rivers, which I don't hate that one. Austin Rivers coming out of high school was one of the top prospects in the country.
Oh, dude, his mixtapes were wild.
He's the one that started those, by the way.
Yeah.
And then he went to Duke, and at Duke, he was solid. And then now in the NBA, he really hasn't been anything too special, but he's been a go-to vet for many years now, which from a vet side of things, I don't mind that at all if that is Jaden Ivey in the future.
Right.
Number 7, Cole Anthony.
Okay.
I don't hate that one because there is athleticism. Number 8, Russell Westbrook.
Right. That one's
intriguing. And that
intriguing.
one is intriguing because they are freaks of athletes. Russell Westbrook doesn't have as good of a shot as Jaden Ivey.
No, especially his rookie year.
Yeah, especially his rookie year. And I'm not just saying that because of the Westbrook stuff, because I hate that people nicknamed him that because realistically, it's very hard to play with LeBron when he's pretty much your GM and coach.
Right.
So that's kind of hard. Number 9, Marcus Smart. And that one's intriguing. That one is very intriguing to me. And number 10, Malik Monk.
See, with a lot of those guys, it's interesting to hear that those guys kind of averaged in the ballpark of 16 points their rookie year and have turned out through the way their career did. I mean, guys like Malik Monk, he's having an all right career, but, coming off a rookie year like that, you're like, oh, he's only going to keep etching up the stat line and his averages are only going to keep going up. But we just haven't seen that with guys like Brandon Knight and Cole Anthony and Kobe White. Cole Anthony's going to have a solid career, but I just don't think he's going to be like that Russell Westbrook, right? And
and Cole Anthony was actually taking the latest out of all of them.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because wasn't he late first? Yeah. Mid first. So as far as Jaden Ivey's best play at what points of the season, we actually saw him have his best averages in the month of March. Yep. He averaged 18.3 points, 7.1 assists, and 4 rebounds. Very close to what he averaged his whole rookie year. But for reference, we lost every game in the month of March. And there was roughly around 11, 12. And, he averaged the most points in a month this last month here in April, but there was less games. So I really just kind of broke it down with the bigger schedule and what months. And it's hard because you look at a guy like Jaden Ivey and say we're still below 500, but his play translated into wins here and there. Say we're at close to 30 wins, something like that. I think if we're in that ballpark, Jaden Ivey, a guy with his talent, his resume, he started off with his rookie year, I think has a shot at a rookie of the year campaign. Yeah. But it's unfortunate that, we just weren't able to translate his great play into wins.
Yeah. And not just that, but even look at Orlando as an example, because Paolo is going to win rookie of the year. He should at least. Right. No offense to Jalen Williams. You're a stud, but for how late you were taken, that's what I'm saying. You're not. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. But Paolo is going to win rookie of the year, and it's not because he had a spectacular rookie year. It's because everybody expected him to do as good as he has been. Right. With Jaden Ivey, I've seen numerous different social media pages and everything putting out their all rookie first teams and second teams and everything, and Jaden Ivey has not been on either one.
That's so dumb.
And it is, because a lot of these people, they don't care about the Pistons, so they're not going to throw Jaden Ivey on that list. They're gonna be like, Jaden Ivey, yeah, he had an okay rookie year. He didn't have anything special. But in our eyes, as Pistons fans, we know for a fact Jaden Ivey balled out, and he actually did better than what we expected.
Yeah, and he gave your favorite team buckets.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
He did. He was a freak of an athlete, and that's what we want to see. And the fact that he wants to play in Detroit, right, and he has Detroit roots, and it makes sense. And there's nothing wrong with his game. There's just too many haters out there, because what's the saying? Detroit versus everybody. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be a thing.
Right.
The only time that's never going to be a thing, I don't even know when that's going to be.
Yeah.
Because no matter what sport it is, everybody hates on Detroit. And so when you see Jaden Ivey not being on this list, and actually this happened last year, if you recall, with Cade.
Right.
Because the NBA TNT crew never mentioned Cade at all in any of their things, but always mentioned Jalen Green is doing so great and blah,
so
blah,
dumb.
blah. And then Dwayne Wade was like, hey, what about Cade? And they're like apologizing on live TV. And it's kind of like, where was this like 30 games ago?
Right.
So it's like everybody is always going to hate on Detroit, no matter what it is. But we have studs. Because Jaden Ivey right now, I would take him in a landslide over Jalen Green.
Right.
Who was the second overall pick last year. I personally think Jalen Green is not going to be anything special. He's just going to be an average NBA player. And I'm not trying to be mean, but that's the truth from my perspective.
Just to speak on Jalen Green a little bit, I don't want to get too off topic, but if you remember, in the early 2000s, there was a guy by the name of Andre Iguodala.
Yep.
He had a good career. Don't get me wrong. And he was a borderline all-star here and there for a couple of years. He started his career off really hot with the Sixers and had gathered all the eyes because of these flashy dunks and here and there. And then, after his career, he won a couple championships with the Warriors. But overall, he didn't really cement himself as one of the all-time greats. I think that's what's going to happen here with Jalen Green. I think he's got some eyes because he's flashy, but then, just will maybe be a borderline all-star here in the next 2 years, but won't make the cut, and then we'll just kind of filter away. I think that's kind of what's going to happen with Jalen.
Yeah. But the point is with Jaden there, he's a stud, and where we took him, he's a steal.
Oh,
because Jaden should have been a top 2
for sure,
top 3 pick.
Yeah, we thought Sacramento was going to take him for sure. We just thought, in my mind, didn't even think of Jaden as a possibility at 5, just because of his talent I thought he had while at Purdue.
Yeah, when they took Chris Murray, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going to get Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
And it happened, and I'm like jumping up for joy because I'm so happy.
I know.
And then we see how the season it pretty much goes. We lose Cade, that sucked. And then the majority of the season was like, okay. But that allowed us to see growth out of rookies, because even when you're having a bad season, that allows you to view your team in a whole new lens.
Yeah.
And it changes your mindset on the team going forward. Because now, instead of going, well, the Pistons suck, there's another loss, you're going, oh, Jaden Ivey actually had a great night tonight.
Right.
So that's why this season was so crucial for us, is even if we were the worst, you still saw growth.
The thing with Jaden's rookie year too is when you take in these stats, he was always on the fly. With dealing with injuries the way the Pistons did this year, Jaden coming into the season, getting through Summer League, getting through training camp, expected to play with Cade Cunningham and was mentally preparing for that. Well, when Cade Cunningham goes down, gets a surgery, Jaden Ivey's whole on-the-court dynamics is totally flipped upside down, because at that time of Cade's injury, Killian Hayes is still very much in question at that time of whether he can run an offense, whether he can get a bucket. We later know going on in the season that he proves he can do that. But Jaden Ivey, dealing with these injuries like Hamidou Diallo, Alec Burks, his role and dynamic was constantly changed because he's one of those guys that can play multiple positions. When you're one of those guys, it's best man up. And Jaden Ivey is always that best man up because he was able to stay healthy. So throughout this season, for him to do what he did in a 10-game streak, he averaged 21 points, nearly 22, 7.6 assists, 4.1 rebounds. He's able to have those 10 games, those 10 consecutive games, while being on a whim, dealing with injuries and filling in where he can. And he was able to put up numbers.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to do that without himself getting injured, really.
Right.
Like, that's impressive. You can't knock on him for the 16 points as an average, where you have Jalen Williams out there averaging 20 points. Yeah, 20 points is spectacular given where he was drafted, but the Thunder, guess what? They're in the play-in right now.
Yeah, and he
They're
got
a playoff
Shea.
team. Yeah. Like, there's so many components when you break this down to seeing what Jaden Ivey did compared to others. Jaden Ivey went through the roof. The others went as expected. And then, like Jalen Williams as an example, because I keep referencing him, he just went through the roof too because he was taken very late. He wasn't expected to be that great. And he's done something. he's not even a big, really. He's a small forward, but he's going to play the big because that's how the Oklahoma City Thunder like him.
Right.
But like, imagine like a Rip Hamilton, and let's say he was a rookie with the Pistons, and let's say that he was thrown into the role of what Jaden Ivey had to do this year, because Rip was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine him not only just being a two guard, but also having the ability to do what like a Cade Cunningham or a Chauncey Billups or an Isaiah Thomas have been able to do.
Run the offense.
Yeah, because if he would have been able to do that, my goodness, everybody would be talking about Rip Hamilton as one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, of course he's a Hall of Famer, but he's not like, whoa, that's Michael Jordan. It's not that.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if we're allowing Jaden Ivey to do this right now and to become like a Isaiah Thomas or a Chauncey Billups, who's to say right now with his game, he couldn't become, this is a bold take, but he couldn't become like a Michael Jordan-esque player.
Oh, yeah. All-around guy.
Yeah, because Michael Jordan, he I'm not going to get into that, but but he is one of the greatest of all time by far. No question about it.
Right.
He worked his tail off. He hates the Pistons, so we hate him. But you can still respect his game.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but by looking at his game, what he did his rookie season, it actually is kind of comparable to Jaden Ivey and what he's done.
Right.
And just Jaden Ivey allowing himself to grow as a point guard too, something that Mike never was able to really do because he was always the two guard. He was always the go-to guy. Yeah, right. He had handles, but he didn't have true handles.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason why he really never matched up against Isaiah Thomas, because IT was fast and he had handles and he's always going to blow by you.
Right.
And so Jaden Ivey just being able to grow as an overall player rather than focusing and honing in on being one of the best two guards he can be is really great to see.
Time and time again, we see a lot of rookie duos that get time together, not really able to play well together. But we saw this year Jaden really find chemistry with Jalen. There was many sequences offensively where kind of pick and roll situations, but really, Jalen Duren kind of setting a screen for an off-ball screen for somebody else. Let's say, Alec Burks. And then, Jalen cuts, Jaden Ivey has the ball, whips it to him and gets a nice dunk. We saw time and time again lob dunks from Jaden to Jalen. I was really happy to see them kind of mold together into this not dominant duo, but we saw them here and there show spurts of very high quality, high IQ basketball. And that's the other thing with Jaden is why he plays so well with Jalen is these are smart guys we're talking about. We're talking about basketball lovers that really do it because of the love of the game. And they really have intricate skill sets. And to see Jaden really mold with Jalen makes me even more excited for the future, not just because we have a high draft pick this year, but not just because we have Cade Cunningham, but because Jaden and Jalen took very good steps in the direction of being a very athletic duo.
Mm-hmm. And then to that point, though, with the pick and roll game and everything, you look at what Jalen did with the last 20 games with James Wiseman there.
Yeah.
Like, it's great to see because not only was he an instant click with Jalen Duren, but he was an instant click with James Wiseman.
Right.
And when Cade's coming back healthy, I don't have any doubts that it wouldn't be an instant click there. And then even Bojan, there are times where it is an instant click, but the point is, like, it just seems like whoever is on the court with Jaden, he can hang with them and play with them and be the true leader. He doesn't have to be the loud guy on the team, but because him in his own sense, he's quiet like me, and he's out there controlling the game how he wants it to be controlled, but he just does it in an intricate way because he's so smart that he breaks it down before it even happens. Like how he learns to adjust to a defense setting up against him.
Yeah.
He watches the feet, and if they go one way, he goes the other, and then he kicks it.
Yeah.
Or he drives. It's just, he breaks it down way in advance before it even takes place. And he knows exactly what's going to happen and exactly what he needs to do. And it's just like, the fact that he's doing this at such a young age and how he's playing like a vet pretty much amongst his teammates there. Like, not a lot of rookies can do that.
Yeah.
And do that at a high pace and just be that dominant.
Right. We've talked a lot about how, Jaden played well with Jalen. He played well with James. But, another point to make too is with Jaden dealing with the injuries and the best man being up and dealing with different rotations, Jaden really didn't ever miss a beat as far as being an assist man. We saw him finish the season averaging 5.2 assists, but there was a 10-game streak where he averaged nearly 8 assists. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing to point out to him is, say we're in a playoff run in the next couple of years and we're dealing with injuries and Jaden's being able to stay healthy, we still have a shot to win these series because of a guy like Jaden that has dealt with it before his rookie year, this past season, and can make it happen with whoever he has in the rotation. Yes, it didn't translate into wins this year, but naturally we'll rack up wins when our roster is fully put together and in full form.
Yeah, and this is something like a life lesson in sense of a whole season that is very valuable to have in a young player like Jaden Ivey, in the sense that, like you said, let's say our team is not what it is in the playoffs, but we still have a chance to win because we have a guy who literally experienced one of the worst seasons in Pistons history.
Yeah.
Like, if he can handle this, he can handle that. Granted, the playoffs are a whole nother beast to tame, but just in the playoffs, you don't play as many games as you do in the regular season. So the fact that Jaden Ivey played 74 games this season and did what he did, he can easily play in the playoffs and do exactly what he did today in the sense of this season. So, like, let's say he doesn't have a spectacular season next year. I wouldn't be surprised because you have Cade back, you have all these pieces. Let's say we have Wemby and we have a whole new team. Who's to say he wouldn't not average the same thing he averaged this year, which it wouldn't be a step down. It wouldn't be a step up, but I'd be fine with it. Let's say he did do that.
Right.
I wouldn't be disappointed at all because he's still a freak of an athlete. He's breaking down the defenses and he's still doing his thing. And even then, next year in the playoffs, if we were to make it there, I wouldn't be scared at all because if he can do this with a dismantled team, he can do it with anyone.
Right, exactly. And he's the kind of guy that, he might have a 5-game stretch where he's only getting around 16 points, but then he can give you an outburst of 32. Yeah. And on any given night, no matter what roster you have, we saw him go out and get 30 against the Miami Heat with a solid defensive team with a guy like Jimmy Butler that is a vetted presence, and Bam Adebayo, who really holds strong in the paint with his shot blocking ability. He's able to give you 30 even when your defense is at its best, and that's really a great player to have. And we saw Russell Westbrook do that for years for the Oklahoma City Thunder when playoff time came around. He was able to go get buckets when you needed him to. We talked about the statistics, and we talked about how much we love Jaden Ivey because we're big Jaden Ivey guys. We evaluated his rookie year. Now it's time to give a final grade on Jaden Ivey's rookie year. I'm saying, as far as how do you want to break down the grades? Because there's multiple ways you can go about this.
So I made a grading tree, and the way I thought of each grade was for A, amazing season, better than expected. B, great season, better than advertised. C, as advertised with room for improvement. D, below advertised with a lot of room for improvement. And F, who is this guy?
This isn't what we expected.
No.
Okay, how about I start us off?
All right.
I'm very happy with his play this year. I do believe he's a future all-star. I really do. I want to give him a higher grade than what I'm going to say, but his best play was in March, like we mentioned, and we lost every single game.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he is as a great player as we want him to, those would be translating into wins. So obviously what I'm saying is there's room for improvement. I'm going to go with a B. I was going to give a B plus, but the month of March really bothers me. His best play and no wins. And a lot of those losses were by double digits in their 20s. So I'm going to roll with the B because that means next year, hopefully he's at an A minus, an A, and hopefully he makes that jump.
See, I do want to throw him at an A because he had a better than expected season, in my opinion. Even though we knew going in he was going to be a stud, it still blindsided me, and in the sense of how he breaks down defenses.
Right,
because that's amazing.
Oh, for sure.
So that's why I'd have him at an A. But like he can still, he can't really shoot the three, and that's something he needs to improve on, especially at his position, because the three is one of the most important things in today's game. You have to be able to shoot the three.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'd throw him at a B. But
it's hard. It's hard.
It is, because there's so many different things that affect this grade.
Yeah.
Because I can't blame him for the roster being what it was at the end of the season.
And yes, right.
You can't blame him for the team being riddled with injuries this entire season, only having 17 wins, 64 losses. You can't blame him for that. But he did get into the groove of things in the late stretch of the season when teams have given up. So by that sense, I would agree. I would have to give him a B.
Okay.
That's only because the 3-point shot is not there. The turnovers and the fouls were high.
Yeah.
But you also can't flack him for it because the team around him, it just wasn't anything special.
You're acting like a B is such a bad grade. A B's fine.
No,
man.
I know.
Good.
But
I think you feel bad, but no,
I feel bad, but I want to give him an A plus.
Yeah,
but
right.
I can't.
Right. No, yeah. A B is very fair, I feel like, especially for a 17-win season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of the worst seasons in Detroit Pistons history. I think a B for a rookie that.
And
really
honestly, where he was drafted, a B is fair.
Right. And he actually, you were saying he kind of did more than you expected. He actually kind of did exactly like what I was hoping. Because 16 points, I mean, that's fine with me for a rookie. I mean, and especially you look at it from the aspect of if a rookie's getting 16 points, you expect them to only keep notching up the stat line each year. Those averages just going up a little bit more. We saw that with guys like Tayshaun Prince, Joe Dumars in the 80s of really just having a solid rookie year and then boom, 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 keep up in those statistics.
As long as he can build his resume, I'm happy.
For sure. So that you hear it here first, folks. We give Jaden Ivey his rookie year a B in grading system because it was a solid season, and Jaden Ivey really showed us that his game is very dynamic. He's a smart cat and can just get up and down the floor, super athletic, and I'm excited to see what he does in his next step in his career, his sophomore year. That will do it for episode number 23. Before you guys leave, I want to shout out Grind Clothing Co. because we have officially partnered up with them for our first merch drop. So you can find the link to that merch in the description below and in our YouTube bio. And then also go follow them on Instagram to see what kind of designs they have. They just had a drop actually recently. Talk about that drop a little bit, Ryan, that just came out.
Yeah. Which one?
There was one that just came out or is about to come out.
The one that's about to come out.
Okay.
Coming out on the 15th.
Okay.
It is in reference to like the Indy 500 and racing and everything. Okay. And so it's representing like, well, if the brand had its own racing team, what would their merch look like?
Ooh.
And that's what it is.
Nice. So everybody go check out that merch drop April 15th and go support Grind Clothing Co. and Ryan. And we're very excited to partner up with them. And we're also looking forward to possibly a new partnership coming up. So be out on the lookout. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.